Hi everyone, today I want to show you how you can create a Lightbox effect for your website, one that you can actually kind of learn a little bit about the background without going into too much of the code or the JavaScript that's working behind it, but that allows you to kind of get an idea of how these things work. So for this one, what I mean by Lightbox is this type of effect where you have a thumbnail, and then when you click on it, the background turns darker, and then it pops up with a larger image. Say this one has the description and a close button. So this example is a very simple, basic Lightbox in the sense that it doesn't have the next and the back or the previous and forward buttons, but it has the close button, so you have to click on each one to view it. It gives a description and you can close it. So this is great for, say, portfolios, showing photographs, images on a website. So I'll show you how you can create something like this. And we're starting off with a folder that's called Lightbox template. And inside of that folder, find this folder here on the desktop. Let's go back. Lightbox template. Here we go. So in this folder, what you're given is this index page, the index.html page with a few sample images. There's also JavaScript in this folder. So the JavaScript that's necessary, all the different files that are linked to this template here, a few sample images, the ones that you see, and then the CSS styles, lightbox.css, that gives it the different look. Okay, so what we have in this page, if I go back to Dreamweaver, is basically what it's composed of are different images. So these tiny little thumbnail, each one, as you can see here in the body section, is basically just an image that's been placed on the page. There's a link basically to the bigger image. So there's the larger image here. The original image that's actually found on the page is the smaller one. So all of the images are found in an images folder. And so basically you have the smaller one here. It has the dimensions for this thumbnail image. And then when you click on it, it basically links to the larger image. So each one of these, so okay, that's the basic structure of it here. There is all of the scripts there, I should say, there are all of the scripts here that allow the functionality of it. So without even really knowing too much about JavaScript, you just need to know that as long as you have the JavaScript in the right folder, in the JS folder, with the correct link, it will do what it needs to do on this page. So if you're going to be taking elements from this Lightbox template HTML page and you want to bring it into your own design, you would need to basically copy over everything that's in the head, all of the links to, say, the Lightbox CSS file, the scripts, along with this JavaScript that's located directly in the head. So I would take all of this stuff here, I would copy it and then paste it into my own design that I might be working on, let's say whatever I'm working on for midterm, and start with that, and then I can just copy one sample of these into the body of my page and then basically rename the images to what my images are, make sure that the images in my folder are the corresponding names. Remember that the link is the bigger image, the image here, the actual little thumbnail, is the smaller one, which is this one right here. So let me show you what I mean. So to create this, basically you need two images. You need to create a small thumbnail image of a certain dimension. In this example, it's 100 pixels by 100 pixels, but you can determine whatever size you want for your thumbnails. If you want it to be a little bit more landscape, say like a 200 by 100, you can, resize your pictures or crop them accordingly in Photoshop, and just make sure that you change the width and the height to what the new dimensions are. So once again, in my Lightbox template folder, you'll see that I have all of the images. So here I have the girl thumbnail, the little one, and the bigger picture. So if I were to open these in Photoshop, I can just show you. They're opening. Here we go. So you want to have a small thumbnail image. So you would name it so that you can differentiate between the two in your folder. Say girl 1 or girl 2 or girl thumbnail, girl big or something, just to give you an indication that okay, this is a thumbnail, and then the bigger picture is, you know, girl large if you want. So this image size. So if you have like, you can make bigger pictures, but you don't want to make them too large such that they don't fit within the screen real estate. So if you're taking a picture, a large image off of your digital camera, it has a high resolution, and if you're to open it in Photoshop that it's really big and it goes past the dimensions of your computer screen, you probably want to resize it down to a reasonable size that can fit as the bigger size for every single image in your browser. So you might want to go with 800 pixels, or depending on how large you want it to be. This one right here, to give you an example, is say 500 pixels wide by 300. But you can go bigger if you want to have a more dramatic effect with your photographs. But you just don't want to make it too big such that you cannot see the entire photo in the browser window, and you'd have to some of it would be missing. So you need to, first of all, resize all your pictures to the size you want them to. So say, for example, let me just give you one example of creating a thumbnail a different dimension other than 100 by 100. If I were to start with this girl, the big one, and crop it down to size, so say if I want it to be more landscape, I can take my crop tool, put the width to, say, 200 pixels, px by 100. Resolution 72, and if I were to crop this, so this is going to be my thumbnail image, and save this, save for web and devices, file, save for web and devices, I'll save it as a JPEG into my Lightbox template folder for images. Here we go. So I'll just call this girl thumb 2. You really don't need 2 photos, but this is just an example to show you a different dimension if you want to create different dimensions. So I have my girl thumb 2 now in this folder, and so if I wanted to have a different thumbnail for her instead of this one, I know that, say, girl thumb 2, I will just change. You can either just, either click on this image, find the source of that image in the images folder by browsing here. So you'd browse to the appropriate picture that you want it to be. And then basically this is the link, which is this ahref here. Where you see the ahref, that's basically the URL going to the larger picture. So say I've changed this to girl thumb 2. Now if I were to preview it, it's refreshing. There we go. So now this is the thumbnail size. We still have the same dimension for the larger picture. So, one thing I didn't do, which I should, proper practice, is to change it did it already for me, the width to 200, the height to 100 here. So as you can see, you can make your thumbnails any size you want. So let me show you how you'd actually incorporate this Lightbox template goodies folder into your own design. So say, for example, if you have your website, the main folder for your website, I'm going to use this red and black folder here. And so in your folder, you might already have an images folder, you might already have a CSS folder, different assets that you built already for your website. And what you want to do is incorporate the stuff from the Lightbox template folder into this. So we're just going to copy over everything that we need. We're going to take the images, we're going to take the CSS, and we're going to take the JS. And then this, we don't really need the Lightbox template.html. We're just going to copy what we need from inside of this file and copy it over to our index. So if you already have a CSS folder in your directory, you don't want to take the CSS folder and copy it because it will replace whatever you have in your folder with what's in here. You'd want to just take the content Lightbox and add it to your CSS. But since I don't have a CSS folder here, I will just take this and drag it over. I'll take my JavaScript. There's no existing JavaScript folder here, so I can copy this folder over. And I will take, and you see here I have an images folder, so I don't want to just take this folder and bring it over. I want to copy the contents. Or if you're not using these pictures, you can just build your pictures directly in your images folder here. So I will just take these, and make sure you include the close label and the next label GIF, because those are those little images that pop up indicating to close and to go to the next picture. Actually, that one's not working, this one. So here, copy this over. Okay, so now I have all the assets as if they're all in my project directory. So I'll just copy this over as well. We're not going to use this page. We're just going to take what we need out of this page to bring it into our index.html page for our website in the place where we want it to. So say this is my website. Just opening. And I want to incorporate this Lightbox template in a certain place on this site. Maybe in one of the boxes I built. Maybe down here somewhere in this next post box. So I will open up my index.html page, that one, in Dreamweaver. And I'm going to, as I'd mentioned, take the Lightbox template. This, I've moved things, I should actually copy them, that's why you're seeing these broken links. But we are working out of our directory now. So I'm going to take everything that I need in the head. So I need the link to the external CSS, lightbox.css page. I need all the JavaScript, and I need this here as well. So I'll scroll down, copy everything, right up to the beginning, right up to the closing tag of the head. Don't include that, just copy this. And I will go into my index.html page. So you might see a lot of stuff, but don't let that intimidate you. It's just basically, you just need to know what to copy and where to paste it. So this is my head here to here. So I will paste that in here. I'll just put a little comment saying Lightbox template box effect start. I'll paste all that in here, and then down here I'll just put a little indication of where that ends. Lightbox. To end it. Okay, so all this in here has to do with that Lightbox, as you see here. So I have the stuff to make it work, even if I don't fully understand what it does. Let's see, let me save this. So even if I don't fully understand what it does, I know it's there and it's going to make it work. And so now you'll see that since I added in all these other external links to different files, I have these other dependent files that we copied over that are linked in the head now showing up at the top here. So I have my source code. These were things from the original template for this red and black design. And then it's added in the CSS for Lightbox, the Lightbox JavaScript, and all the other items, the goodies that we put at the top in the head to make this page work properly. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to need is, as you'll see, each one of these images is basically a picture with a link. So if I want to recreate that, I can just take one of these. I'll just take one of these from the body, I'll copy that, go back to my index page, and then for my own website, and here I'll just say, okay, well, where do I want these images to appear? So say if I want it to be in this box here, in place of this paragraph, so I can say, so if I click in here, it indicates, oh, this is where I'm at in the code. So I can just delete this paragraph if I don't need it, and replace it with one of these entries for the Lightbox. I'm going to put a comment. And I'll just comment this back down here as well. Lightbox end. Okay, so now I end up with one little thumbnail image, right? So I can then use my own images if I wanted to replace this image with, my own. So each time you copy this and then paste it, it creates another thumbnail. So you can create as many thumbnails as you like, and they will all just appear. I just have the exact same picture for now, but I can then go back and replace the picture with my own picture, my own thumbnail. So let me just grab a photo. Grab one of my little boy. Okay, so I'm going to go into Photoshop, take this picture. This is one of my own pictures that I will then crop and resize to what it needs to be. So here I will go into image size. I can resize it, say if I want it to be, this is way too big as you can see. I'll just make it say 800 pixels. Okay, so view actual pixels. That's how big it will show up in my browser. So I'm going to save this. File, save for web and devices. And it must be in the red and black project. For images, I will just call this baby big. Okay, and then from this, I also want to make, a small thumbnail. I'll use the 100 by 100 that's already there. So I can just take a portion of this, crop it down. So that's going to be my thumbnail. File, save for web and devices. And I'll just make it a thumb. Or small, or something that indicates the smaller version. There we go. So now, if I go back to Dreamweaver, I can take one of these entries, and then if it's saved in the correct folder, in an images folder, because right now it's, you're looking for it in an images folder, I can either go here, there's two ways to do it. Either look for the source of this image by browsing, and then link it to the bigger image also by browsing and selecting that image. I'll do it both ways, actually. So for this one, I can browse for the file, the thumbnail, so okay, thumb. There we go. I can change the alternate text. Oops, sorry. Let me just do it all from the properties bar first. So here, instead of alternate text of what is this picture supposed to be, let me just call it Gabe. And then it's going to link to the bigger picture. So if I browse for the file, big, open, it's then going to, you see it changed it here as well in the code. So if I were to preview this, I should now have my image. Oh, and the other thing to change is the caption. So close, there we go, it works properly. So here now, I was with this one, so here in the only thing you can't change by the properties bar is the caption. So we'll do it here. I'll do another example of strictly using the code here, the same picture. So I'm going to take this one, replace it with, another picture. I'll just use the exact same one that I have, this first one. So I can go to the source image is going to be, just by typing, Gabe small. Oh, sorry, Gabe thumb. That's what I called it. gabethumb.jpg. So there we go. The size is correct, 100 by 100. And then it's going to link to GabeBig. So I'll just copy this. And you see this first slash before the actual title, sorry, I should say the actual file name is the images folder in which it's located. So we can leave this. This works with the CSS and JavaScript. And so here are the titles, what we have to change. So we can change this title to something appropriate. Okay, so I just put new baby boy. And so here, if I were to preview this once again, you end up with the correct thumbnail, the correct photo, and then your caption over here, and with the close button. And that's basically how it works. So all you have to remember to do is, once again, it's two separate files. So don't get this file mixed up with your index. You can work from this, but it has no styles or design from your own, from what you've been working on. It'd be a little bit longer to kind of, try to recreate. I mean, you can reverse engineer in the sense that you can copy all this, the head and, all of the stuff from your design into this, but, since this is less, it's easier to go from this and to copy it into what you need into your document. So once again, if this is the original page from Lightbox template, once you copy what you need, you can just trash this page. You don't need it anymore. You've gotten all the stuff that you need from out of it. So once again, in the head of the document, you want to copy all of the code, the link to the CSS style, the link to the JavaScript, this code that's right directly in the head, right up to the end of the script. Copy that, put that in the head of your own document. So we did that here, and I just commented it so that I know where it begins and ends. So I'm not just like a bunch of ooh, so much code. Don't get intimidated by code, because it's manageable if you know what you're looking for. All of the dependent files will end up at the top here, so you can always go and see what's in them just by clicking to investigate what's in the lightbox.css, how that works. Just go back to the source code for my index page, and then you just take one of these from Lightbox template from the body, say just one thumbnail entry, copy that, go back to your index page, paste it, find where on your page you want this set of thumbnails to go, paste that one example, so you can just end up with one little thumbnail the size that you want it to be, and then just make copies of it, and then as you go along, just change it to the appropriate images. So just make sure that in Photoshop you have 2 copies of each image, a thumbnail picture, and then a bigger picture resized to whatever size you want, and save those pictures in your images folder. So in the end, for your own project, just make sure that you don't override any folders that exist. So if you're taking the images from the Lightbox template, don't replace your images folders with that, because it will overwrite all your pictures. Just take the contents and add it to your images, basically. So you're just going to add any new images to your images folder and use those. So that is a basic Lightbox template that you can use for your websites. Thank you.